Hello, this video is an introduction course walkthrough for Smalley's Math 2413 online course, Lone Star College, University Park. And we're going to run through some things so you kind of have an idea what's going on, make things get off to an easier start for you, I think. This video seemed to be very helpful for students in the past, especially if they're new to online courses. All right, we got to get to D2l. That's where the show is. There's two ways you can get there. You can log in either via My Lone Star, then you'll click on, I believe it's LSC Online, or you can type in D2l, lonestar.edu. That'll get to it. I already have it up, so I'll just go to that. Yeah, you can see what I've got right in there. That will get you straight to the Lone Star login. I guess I'll go ahead and go to that. Oh, it actually logged me in. I was hoping it would show. Because it shows you the regular login, then right below it, if you're having trouble, they have what's called an alternate login, which I believe the alternate login takes you straight to D2l without going through the My Lone Star. But in case there's any issues, you want to try that alternate login. So, all right, you'll search for your course. I've already got that open here, so you'll find Math 2413's 6001. So let's take a look. The three most important areas that you have to worry about here, well, one of them you don't have to really worry about, but content is important. Grades is just going to be where your grades are stored. That's what I'm saying. That's not important as far as you having to worry about, but all the grades are going to be recorded off when you're going to submit your answers online. So there's really no chance of, whereas if I was recording scores, of there being a human error, so there shouldn't be any mistakes. But, you know, you can look in there and just to double check to make sure nothing's wrong, but I would be shocked if it was, because it's just taking your submission and putting it right into the grade book versus me typing in your grade. And course activities, quizzes, that's important. Quizzes contains the quizzes and the exams, and we'll come back to that. Let's start off. Now, course content, there's all kinds of stuff. Man, you can click on and look around, and here's a link to the video, which obviously the video is not made yet. That was an old video, but it'll still say the same thing, but it'll be this video. That was from a prior one. So this, I call this syllabus and other assorted files. We'll go through looking some of that here. But let's just bring up the syllabus. And I'll go through this real quickly, because syllabus will stay there the entire term. You'll be able to look at it whenever you want. Now, to get it out of that little window, I'm going to download it as a PDF file. And you can do that to everything in there. If there's some of my other files that you want to keep, whatever, just download them and save them as PDFs. So like I said, I'm just going to get to the highlights on this, because you can read this, then hopefully there aren't any typos. Sometimes there's usually something wrong with it, but all right, I'll skip all this, yada, yada, yada. All right. I talk about calculators, but with COVID-19, the exams are going to be unproctored, so it doesn't matter to me what you use. If it was a proctored exam, like I will do after this is over, then I'll go back to those rules, but I just leave it in there that way in the syllabus. Oh, now we have an official textbook. Now I'm going to go, when I go back in here in a minute, you'll see that you can choose whatever you want to do regarding the textbook. I'm going to show you another option. But really, any calculus book you want to use probably would be fine, because it would have the same similar content. The assignments you're going to be submitting are all here in D2l, so it will not be required for you to have like submissions of problems from a specific book like this, meaning that if you didn't have the book, you would be at a disadvantage. No, nothing's coming from this book. We're working, other than just content, of course, but we're going to be working from quiz files. And the Cengage is not required for this course. Well, my math lab wouldn't be either because this is not a math lab book. All right, well, let's see. I'm not going to read all this. This just shows official day of record. Main thing I look for to make sure everybody's logged into D2l at least one time before this official day, and you won't get dropped. So if you're watching this video, that means you would have logged in. So that would count. But ideally, to be successful in the course, you want to be logged in more than just once by that date. So let's see the drop dates in here. All right, they had us put this in the syllabus about conflict resolution. That's okay. All right. A couple of important people here. We've got a department chair. We've got a dean. This dean's actually going to be leaving in October, and it's going to be a different dean. But you could, get that information from me if you need it, or Professor Rodriguez can tell you who that person is if you need it. Okay, here. Now I'll slow down to explain how we get a grade in this class, because that's important. And here's what we have. We're going to have these quizzes, which I'm going to talk more about the specifics of the quizzes here in a minute. But there's 10 of them, and I'm going to count the best 6. So you're going to drop your lowest 4. So if you miss one or don't submit one in time, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's your best 6 out of 10, and we're going to average those to form what's called a quiz average. And the quiz average has the same weight as an exam. Basically, everything's 25%. So what we're going to do is we've got 3 exams and the quiz average. The lowest of those 4 will be dropped. So those are 4 things. The lowest one could be dropped. And that's 25% each, which makes 75%. Final exams, 25%. So sometimes people will kind of ask me, and be careful how you word it, or in this case, type it. Are you dropping the lowest exam? Well, I don't want to say it that way because it's the lowest. If the quiz average is better than one of your exams, yes, it will replace it. But you can't. In other words, if an exam is going to be dropped, that means your quiz average has to count. So I got to be careful with the semantics of that, so somebody doesn't misunderstand it. Now, it is possible that your quiz average could be the one that dropped. I just finished a couple of summer courses where I think like 3 people, they were all making A's, but their quiz average just happened to be a little bit less than their exam average. I mean, for most people, whether you're making an A or not, you're probably going to want to use that quiz average because it allows you to have a off day on one of the other 3 exams. But it is possible that the quiz average could be the lowest of those 4, and then it would get dropped. So that's the lowest of those 4 scores. So usually for most people, it will be an exam, but it could be the quiz average. And then the final, that counts, that's not dropped, and that's an equally weighted 25%. So there's your 100%. There we go. All right. Letter grade, pretty standard. I'm not going to read all this, but obviously I'm not going to read it. Just sort of, it's got due dates there, which obviously that's important. Now, I'll talk about these due dates. They're in the D2l calendar. That's very important. Now, if for some reason I need to change something, this is why you always have to pay attention to my announcements in D2l. So some of these dates may possibly change. Now, they won't go backwards in time. In other words, if anything, they would be extended forward. So you wouldn't have to worry about these times being too late. They might be early. I don't know. I didn't have to drop anything last time, but I always say that just in case. But the D2l calendar will be, if any, of course I'll announce any adjustments, but that's where it will show the actual date. So right now, all the due dates match these dates, hopefully I didn't type anything in wrong. If you see something wrong, please let me know. But theoretically, it should match every one of these. Unless one has to be edited. Now you can, obviously you don't want to work at too slow of a pace, but you can actually work at a faster pace if you want to. You can finish the course a little early in the semester, earlier than normal if you want to. Because, once all the assignments are open, but they all have due dates. So this just kind of gives you, we're supposed to put these in the syllabus now. It's not a bad idea. It's just kind of a way to pace yourself. But obviously, if you can work a little bit ahead of that, that's not a bad idea. I kind of back these quizzes up a little bit to give you time to get ahead on the studying a little bit, because you have to be careful. There's only 4-day gaps like between these quizzes. Hopefully, you'll already be a little bit ahead of them, so it won't take you that long to cover the material. So like I said, that's just a rough schedule, just to help pace you through the course. Due dates. There we go. All right. I'm not going to read all this, but you can read through this. I have exam reviews, which I'll show you. You never want to use just the quizzes as a review, because the quizzes, while they are going to be relevant material, they're not necessarily going to be everything. The quizzes are going to be basically a subset of the material. So they're relevant, they're just not everything. But the exam reviews are pretty much everything. All right, I'll show you how to do the quizzes thing here in a minute. All right. We're not having proctored exams this semester. All right. Okay, beautiful. There we go. Knock the syllabus out quite quickly there. Like I say, feel free to, I'm not saying you have to skim it that quickly, but if something's not clear, then please send me a message, and I'll be happy to try to clarify it for you. So we're done with that quiz. Let's go back to the content. And let me jump down this main page. I don't do this for every exam, but I do it for the final, because the final kind of covers everything. This just tells you the types of problems that are going to be on the final. It doesn't give any numbers or any equations or anything. It'll help you when it comes time for the final to know a little bit better what you need to study. I do have a review for the final, but the review covers probably more stuff than what's on this list. So you want to use that list. The regular exams, you just have to kind of go by you want to study the review, make sure you're good with everything, but I don't have those listed out for you. I only do that for the final. Testing center info, I already have that blocked out anyway, because we don't need that. Now I'm going to show you how to do this, but these are good files to refer to. It's good to know that they're there. How to actually enter a quiz in D2l, and how to actually look at what you've done after the submission. I'll talk about that. This is a practice list from a book that I'm going to show you here in a minute. There's a Trig formula sheet. CalcChat is a website that gives you, it's just like a solution manual for these problems up here. Now, they might not always show every step, so obviously you could ask me something if you weren't sure. Just a bunch of other resources, Algebra, Trig review. Now, this one here at the very bottom is very important, because I was talking about textbook and what other kind of option you could have. Let me open up this file. This file is a copy of an old textbook. It's the Larson 9th. And it matches my section numbers that my videos and lectures will be on. I mean, you can still use other books, but I'm just letting you know, because you could figure out just by the title of the section, transfer it from one book to the other. But this will, this is another option for you to use as a book. And like I say, the index will be here. Here we go. Yeah, my notes and everything match the numbering of these sections right here. All right, so that's a handy little resource there for you. And yeah, a couple people had asked me about the book. They sent me a email. I said, well, I'll show you the alternative when you watch the video. And there it was. That was it. So I think we're good with that. Let's come over here. I got lecture notes. Grouped, as you can see, by exams. So you know exactly, hey, what all is going to be on exam 1. Probably everything that says exam 1 notes. So no mystery, no surprises. I got everything pretty organized here. So you'll see exactly, oh, okay, these are the sections that are going to be on that first exam. I mean, if I was ever to change it, there's no need to me to change it, but obviously I would announce anything. But so it's all grouped by exam 1, exam 2, exam 3. So that's pretty straightforward, I think. Fine. Seems to be. I don't seem to get too many complaints about being completely disorganized or anything, so that's good news. I've got matching lecture videos, also by exam. So you have the notes. But the exam videos are basically. I'm not handwriting the material. I'm more carefully explaining the notes. So I'm just kind of walking through the note real carefully. That kind of keeps the length of the videos down too, so they're not too long. That way they're not excessively long, more than about 30 minutes or so. I think I kind of use a pointer or follow the bouncing ball, as I'm explaining stuff instead of actually writing it out. I know some people might prefer if it was written out. I'm sorry about that, but this seems to work okay. But that's why, and I showed that other page. If you want to, you don't have to just do mine. I'm just providing that as a service for you. You can go to Khan Academy and a lot of other, great video sources you can use. I just like to provide my own because I feel like that I should. But it's not like, oh, you better watch his, And let's see, I just have some notes for Cal 2 and Cal 3. Sometimes I have people say, hey, I'm going to be taking whatever, the next calculus. Can I have some of your notes? Well, you go in there and get them yourself if you want them. Like I was showing you, you just, at the bottom of that screen, you download them in PDF. All right, they're yours to keep. Now, everything in this particular class is going to be multiple choice. I want to mention that too. So, and you'll submit everything via D2l. Let's talk about quizzes. Now, these are the quizzes. These are the PDF files for the quizzes. You're going to submit these electronically. Now, the exams are going to work a little bit differently. So what you do is you open up the PDF file, like so. Each one of them, I believe, has 10 problems. You go through, you work these to your best ability. You save those answers. You hold on to those. And when you think you are ready to submit your answers, just make sure it's got to be before the deadline, though, the due date. But when you're ready to submit them before the due date, okay, let me go back to these quizzes. So that's where all the quizzes are located, all 10. This tells you what sections they're from. And you're going to go up here. And you're going to click on this quiz. So do not open this quiz. Open the PDF file, obviously, that I just showed you. But don't open these up until you're ready to submit your answers. I think I have like a time limit of an hour. But consider the fact that you're already going to have the questions answered. You're talking about 5 minutes probably, but be careful. Now, one thing I want to mention you want to watch for, I don't know what causes this. The numbers aren't going to change. They're fixed. But some reason I can't find it. Sometimes it will scramble some of the answer choices. So just be careful as you pick your answers as you go. Now, maybe I can show you that. Maybe it'll do it. Let me go back and open up quiz 1 PDF file here real quick and go back to this. So what I'll do is, there we go. Let's just look at quiz 1. And I'll download this so I can go back to open file. All right, let me go back to this and get to course activities, quizzes. Yeah, so once again, I think I mentioned this, but quizzes and exams are both under quizzes. There's not a separate one for exams. I'll show you here in a second. So I'm going to click on this. only because it doesn't matter. Meaning that this is only going to be my grade, which I guess I can do whatever I want to my own grade. Not that I need the grade, obviously, but oh, you know what? Let me. Okay, actually, let me see if I can change this over to. I don't want to edit it. I just want to close it out. I want to look at it as if from a student view. I'm gonna go up here. I think I can change that view as student. So I'm going to click on this, and then so it's telling me when obviously you'll see in the calendar it's due 1 hour. The deadline 11 p.m. All the deadlines are 11 p.m. That just means you have to open it before that time, and you'll get the full limit. So in other words, as long as you open it, let's say if you open it at 10:45, you'll still get the full hour to do it. It won't cut you off at 11. Now I'm just looking right now to see if it did it for this one as an example. All right, where'd that PDF file go? Well, oh, there it is. Right there at the top. So let's just kind of look at these answers real quick. I'm just looking for scrambling. Of course, they're written horizontally. 0 does not exist, -2, and 1. Ah, there it is, first one. So I don't have to show you anymore. So the answers are in the wrong order. That's okay. Just be extra careful when you're bubbling them. Like I said, you have 1 hour to bubble 10 answers that you should have already worked out. You're not taking the quiz in real time, so it just goes super duper slow here. So you enter whatever you think the answer is, and just watch for the scrambling. All right, so I could go through the rest of this, and I'm not going to slow it, but you go through and make all your bubbles. Now it says submit quiz. That's what you'll do when you're done. You'll submit it, and it should tell you your score. I'm going to X out of this and see what it does to me. It may say bad things to me or something. No, I don't want to continue the quiz. I just want to go back to the quiz list. Okay, that's just what I see. Incomplete. Now, and like I said, I have a file, as I mentioned, that it shows this. It's on the same page as the syllabus and that book, how to view these. I'm going to tell you real quick. It's kind of confusing. Once you get the hang of it, it'll be easy. All these quizzes, the exams will be a little bit different because I set them viewable whenever make sure there aren't any difficulties or stuff like that. I usually wait a day or so. But the quizzes are viewable 1 hour after that deadline. So it's a little frustrating if you submit it early. You make a 90. You wonder which one you missed. You can view it 1 hour after this deadline. So that means and for the rest of the semester. It's open at September 12th at midnight. So you'll see the score, but you won't know. You can't view it until then. But anyway, it's kind of tricky on how you view it till you see how this is done. You think you go back and click on this again. The same thing, the blue part. The blue part is only for taking the quiz. To view it, you have to click down this drop-down arrow, and you'll highlight submissions. And that's how it'll say view attempt or something or another. That's how you look at your results. But once again, you can't see them until 1 hour after the deadline. So if you try that early, that's not going to work either. But there's how you do it. Because it looks like you would just click on the quiz again. Logically, you keep clicking on this thing. No, it's got to be a drop-down arrow, then submissions. All right, so let me go back to... I'll look at it from my point of view, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, doesn't really matter. But see now the exams are a little different. You don't have the questions in advance. You just get yourself ready to go whenever you're ready. It can be whatever. That's just the last time to do it. Maybe you're ready on September 23rd. When you're ready, you click on the exam. You click Start Exam. And you work them out and you submit your answers in real time. In other words, you're working them. You don't already have the problems done in advance. The quizzes are the only ones, I know they're called quizzes, but they almost seem like homework sets because, you already work them in advance. I keep debating about changing the name of the idea of quiz. Most people, you think of quiz, something you take, in real time. Only the exams are taken in real time. So here's things all lined up. Now, you see, what you'll see, you won't see it like this, though. Let me go back. Just go back to the home page, I guess, here. I could view it, go back as student, I guess. I was explaining to you, I was talking about the D2l calendar. This is it over to the right. There's all your dates. Like I said, I would announce something, but obviously if I announce something was to be changed, it would be updated here. I'm not going to update it on that printed syllabus, in other words. I'm not changing it there. It would be changed here. But you would be completely informed. So this is what I mean by D2l calendar, is this thing over to the right, which has the official deadlines on D2l. So right now, I'm not expecting anything to change, but if nothing changes, it should match what's on that syllabus. But that's the real authority, the D2l calendar. The syllabus is good to put it on the syllabus, but that's not the same thing. So we have quizzes, how to do that. So you work them out in advance and then submit your answers. The exams, you take them in real time whenever you're ready to go. And by the deadline, of course. And then we went through, I showed you the lecture notes, the lecture videos, all that. I think we've pretty much covered everything. So hopefully we'll have a great semester here as you kind of plow your way through this course. I'm always an email away. If I ever decide I have any kind of meetings or anything, I'll let you know. Might have some sort of Zoom type meeting, maybe like before exams or something like that. But anyway, in the meantime, just, you can email me via D2l or my regular email address. So I don't think I've missed anything. I think I've covered all the highlights here. So I guess with that being said, that concludes this concludes this video, and let's have a great semester.